Long ago, the fig tree stood barren, its branches withered, its roots dry. It was a symbol of something that had once flourished, but now had vanished into the dust of history. But it was not just a tree. It was the sign of a nation, a people, and a covenant. The master once walked among the trees of the Mount of Olives, and as he approached the city, he saw a fig tree with leaves but no fruit. He spoke, and it withered. That moment was more than a lesson. It was a prophecy. The fig tree represented Israel, a people chosen, scattered, and silenced. A temple once stood where the glory of God descended in fire, but it fell stone by stone as Messiah had declared. The nation ceased to exist. For 2,000 years, Israel was not a nation, but a memory, its people scattered across the earth. Every empire that rose and fell bore witness to this dispersion. Rome, Byzantium, the Ottomans, they ruled the land, but the people of the covenant wandered. And yet the prophets had spoken. They declared that in the last days, before the end would come, the fig tree would live again. They spoke of dry bones rising, of scattered exiles returning from the four corners of the earth. They spoke of a desolate land blooming once more, of Hebrew spoken again in the streets, of the desert rejoicing. Oh, who could believe? What people scattered for 2 millennia, stripped of power, persecuted, exiled, and hunted could return. What language dead in everyday use could rise again? And yet in 1948, the impossible happened. Israel was reborn in a single day. As the prophet Isaiah foresaw, a nation was born. Against all odds, the exiles returned. Holocaust survivors, Russian Jews, Ethiopian tribes, all returned to the land of their fathers. The soil responded. The deserts bloomed. The cities rose from ruins. Tel Aviv from the sand dunes. Jerusalem, once divided, reunited, and the fig tree blossomed. But with that blossoming came a warning. The master said, "Oh, when you see the fig tree put forth leaves, know that the time is near, even at the door." He was not merely speaking of agriculture. He was not speaking only to the disciples before him. He was speaking across the ages. He was placing a marker in time. He was saying, when you see the nation of Israel rise again, when you see the fig tree restored, know that you have entered the days of fulfillment. The countdown begins. Not with fanfare, not with explosions, but with a leaf. A simple leaf, green and new. A silent sign to the discerning, but not all discerned it. The world welcomed Israel's rebirth with war. Armies gathered, nations conspired. Yet the fig tree stood, the armies failed, and Israel lived. And year by year, more prophecies unfolded, the land reclaimed, the cities restored. Then the language revived, the exiles regathered, and the capital, Jerusalem, declared once again the eternal capital of the Jewish people. For 2,000 years, it had been trampled underfoot by Gentiles. But in 1967, the time of the Gentiles began to close, and the holy city returned to the people of the covenant. And yet most of the world sleeps. They see history, but not prophecy. They see politics, but not fulfillment. They see a state, but not a sign. But the fig tree was the first sign, the first of the final signs. It is the marker that declares, you are the generation. You are the witnesses. You are those spoken of by the prophet. When Messiah declared that this generation would not pass until all these things be fulfilled, he was not speaking of his disciples' age. He was speaking of the generation that would see the fig tree blossom. That means there is a window, a countdown, a divine timeline. The sands have begun to fall, and they are nearing the end. It has been over 70 years since the tree blossomed. How long is a generation? Some say 40 years, others 70. The Psalms speak of 80 years, if by strength. But whatever the length, the hour is late. If the rebirth of Israel was the beginning of the end, then we are not approaching the end. We are standing in it. The rapture is not far off. The trumpet is not far from the lips of the angel. The signs are no longer future. They are present. The fig tree has blossomed. The branch is tender. The leaves are on the tree. Summer is near. The harvest is near. The time of the ingathering is at hand. But are we ready? Are we watching? Or are we among those who mocked Noah while the ark was being prepared? Are we discerning the hour? Or are we sleeping in the night of complacency? The fig tree is God's mercy. He could have ended it all without warning, but he gave a sign, a clear, visible, global sign. He said, watch the fig tree, and we have seen it. Now we must respond. It is not enough to admire prophecy. It is not enough to debate timelines. The fig tree is not a curiosity. It is a call to repentance, a call to purity, a call to urgency, a call to awaken. The bridegroom delays, but not forever. The door will open, and then it will shut. and those without oil will find themselves outside. The fig tree has blossomed. That is the first sign, the beginning of the end. And that end is not doomed for those who know him. It is the moment of glory. The trumpet shall sound, the dead shall rise, the living shall be caught up, and we shall see him face to face. But only if we are ready, only if we are watching. The fig tree has spoken, and its message is clear. Prepare, return, awake, for the king is coming. The signs are no longer scattered and isolated like whispers lost in the wind. They are converging. Once they were distant storms rumbling on separate horizons, but now they gather together into a single tempest. The winds of prophecy are no longer gentle breezes, but fierce gales swirling with urgency. What was once future is now present. The pieces are assembling into one picture, reveals that we are no longer waiting for the end times. We are living in them. The convergence of signs is the warning of convergence and judgment. Look to the scriptures and you will see the blueprint. Wars and rumors of wars, pestilence, famine, earthquakes in diverse places, nation rising against nation, lawlessness abounding, love growing cold. These are not random events, but prophetic coordinates. Each on its own is a marker, but when they appear together, it is not normal history. It is prophetic climax. Never before in human history have so many prophetic signs aligned so precisely. The kingdoms rose spirals, kingdoms rose and fell over centuries, but now everything accelerates. The birth pangs grow closer, more intense. The earth groans under the weight of sin. The signs converge like thunderheads over a battlefield. Nations once at peace now rattle their sabers. Alliances are forming in the exact pattern foretold by the prophets of old. Ezekiel named them Gog, Magog, Persia, Cush, Put, and today they rise from ancient dust with modern weapons. Russia, Iran, and Turkey, nations with no unity in history, now stand shoulder to shoulder in military alliance, and their eyes are on Israel. The little nation, no larger than a postage stamp on a world map, is the epicenter of global shaking. Why? Because it is not a political land, it is a covenant land. The convergence of prophetic signs begins and ends with Israel. From the rebirth of the nation to the regathering of the exiles, from the wars fought within days of its independence to the miraculous reunification of Jerusalem, Israel is the timepiece of prophecy. What happens to it reveals what is about to happen to the world. The prophet Zechariah foretold that in the last days, Jerusalem would become a cup of trembling to all nations and a burdensome stone. And now the world cannot speak of peace without Israel at the center. Nations condemn her for defending herself. Movements rise to isolate her, and yet she stands surrounded by enemies yet not consumed. The convergence is not just military or political, it is spiritual. The darkness that once hid in shadows now parades openly in the streets. The morals that once governed society are now mocked. Good is called evil. Evil is called good. Children are confused. Families are torn. Churches that once preached truth now preach compromise. The apostasy prophesied by Paul is no longer a warning, it is a reality. The love of many has grown cold. The lamps of many have gone out. And yet the deception is embraced as progress. But the word warned us. It said that in the last days, perilous times would come. Men would be lovers of themselves, proud, boastful, disobedient, unthankful, unholy. They would have a form of godliness, but deny its power. They would heap to themselves teachers who speak what their itching ears desire. The convergence is within and without. Not only do we see the signs in society, but we see them in nature. Earthquakes shake the foundations of cities. Storms rage with historic fury. Waters rise and fires consume. Creation groans for redemption. It was never meant to endure this level of rebellion. Even the heavens declare the warning. Solar eclipses, blood moons, planetary alignments, these are not superstitions. In Genesis, it was declared that the sun, moon, and stars were given for signs and for seasons. The word used, modem, means appointed times. The signs in the heavens are divine appointments, warnings, and declarations of coming events. And now, one by one, they converge with what was written. Technology rises to fulfill the rest. Once we read in Revelation of a world system that could control commerce, of a market needed to buy or sell, of two witnesses seen by the whole earth. It was once impossible. But now we hold the tools of prophecy in our hands. The smartphone, the digital currency, the surveillance systems, all are in place. The infrastructure for the beast system is not coming. It is here. Even the idea of one world government, once the dream of philosophers, is now the stated goal of global leaders. Digital identification, global regulation, centralized health systems, and calls for a single economic model all point to a system that mirrors the prophetic warnings. And yet, the world sleeps. It is like the days of Noah. They ate, drank, married, and gave in marriage until the flood came and took them all away. The convergence of signs is the sound of distant thunder, and yet few turn their heads to the sky.
They are too busy scrolling through distractions to see the fulfillment of ancient words.
But for those who watch, who wait, who are not asleep, the convergence is a call to awaken, a call to separate from the world, a call to live not as citizens of earth, but as citizens of heaven. It is not enough to admire the signs. It is not enough to say you believe. The demons believe and tremble. The convergence demands action. The convergence demands repentance. The convergence demands readiness. This is not a season for soft faith. This is not a time for entertainment-driven religion. This is the time to be found faithful. To be like the wise virgins who kept their lamps trimmed and their oil full. To be like the watchman on the wall who sees the sword coming and warns the people. The world is converging toward a single moment, a flash, a trumpet, a cry from heaven. The convergence is the prelude to the catching away, the rapture. The voice that once said, "Let there be light," will soon say, "Come up here." And in the twinkling of an eye, those who are ready will be taken. The convergence will culminate in that great evacuation of the righteous. And then will come the storm in full force, the judgment, the tribulation, the revealing of the lawless one. The convergence is both a warning and a mercy, for God does not judge without warning. He is patient, not willing that any should perish. But the patience of God will not last forever. The day of mercy has a limit. The signs have converged. The time is short. The hour is late. The moment is now. From the beginning of time, the heavens have served as more than decoration in the night sky. They have been scrolls written by the hand of God, testifying silently, but clearly to those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. The stars were not placed merely for beauty, nor the sun and moon simply to provide light and rhythm. Genesis declared that the sun, the moon, and the stars were set in the heavens for signs and seasons, for sacred appointments. That word, modem, means more than dates on a calendar. It refers to divine appointments, sacred moments when heaven intersects with earth. And in our time, one of those appointments has arrived. A celestial sign has appeared, one so precise, so in line with the prophecies of Revelation, that to ignore it is to ignore the voice of God written in the stars themselves. This sign, manifest in our skies, is not myth or allegory. It is a literal alignment of heavenly bodies that mirrors the vision of John in Revelation chapter 12. The apostle, exiled on the island of Patmos, looked into the heavens and saw a great sign, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. For centuries, theologians and scholars have puzzled over this imagery. Was it symbolic? Was it Israel? The church, Mary? But in our generation, the alignment appeared with astonishing clarity. In the constellation Virgo, there appeared the sun at her shoulder, the moon at her feet, and 12 stars crowning her head. Planets aligned to complete the picture. Jupiter, long known as the king planet, entered the womb of the Virgin and remained there in retrograde motion for the precise period of gestation, 9 months. Then it exited, just as Revelation described the moment of birth. This was not astrology, it was prophetic astronomy. Not man predicting through the stars, but God proclaiming through them. It occurred once and only once in recorded human history, on a Jewish feast day, a modim, a divine appointment. What does it mean? It means that the prophetic timeline is no longer theory. It is manifest. The heavens have confirmed it. The Revelation 12 sign was not just a wonder, it was a warning, a declaration that the final chapter is unfolding, that what John saw is now being echoed in the firmament, announcing the birth pangs of the end. Just as Bethlehem once had a star that guided wise men, so now the world has received another sign, a signal not of the Messiah's birth, but of his imminent return. And with it comes urgency, because following the sign in Revelation 12 comes the rise of the dragon, the serpent that seeks to devour the child, the war in heaven, the casting down of Satan, the persecution of the remnant, the rise of the beast, the tribulation. The sign was not the end. It was the threshold of the end. It was heaven's trumpet declaring that the time of decision is now. But the heavens have not spoken only once, Blood moons have come, red like warning beacons, appearing on Jewish feast days, marking pivotal events in the history of Israel. Solar eclipses have crossed the land, forming XS over nations, as if to mark them for divine dealings. Stars have fallen, meteors have shaken the atmosphere, and signs have multiplied. What do they point to? They point to the return of the King. They point to the rapture. They point to the moment when the trumpet will sound, the dead in Christ will rise, and those who are alive and remain shall be caught up to meet him in the air, and the world will never be the same. The celestial sign that mirrored Revelation 12 is not merely a fascination for theologians or astronomers. It is a cry from the heavens that the labor pains have begun. The woman has cried out. The child is about to be caught up, and the window of mercy is rapidly closing. When Messiah came the first time, the religious missed the signs. They read the scrolls but ignored the signs in the sky. Only a few wise men from a distant land discerned what had come. They followed the light through darkness to the light of the world. And now, once again, the signs are here. But many sleep. Many mock. Many dismiss. But those who walk in the Spirit will not be caught unaware. For the day will not overtake them as a thief. They are children of the light. They discern the hour. They understand the urgency, and they prepare. The heavens declare the glory of God. But in these last days, they also declare his warning. The fig tree has blossomed on the earth, but the signs in the sky confirm the moment. It is not enough to admire them. It is not enough to marvel. We must respond. The rapture draws near. The shout is about to be given. The angel is preparing the trumpet, and before that moment arrives, the last of the watchmen must cry out. The church must awaken. The lamps must be filled. The garments must be white. The oil must not run dry. The sign of revelation has appeared. And whether the world believes it or not, it has already spoken. The child will be caught up. The dragon will descend. The shaking will increase, and the gate will soon close. The day is late. The darkness deepens, but the stars still shine. The signs are still visible to those who look up. Lift your eyes. Lift your voice. Lift your heart, for your redemption draws near. The parable was spoken not for entertainment, but for awakening. 10 virgins took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. All of them had lamps. All of them believed the bridegroom was coming. All of them fell asleep. But when the cry came at midnight, only 5 were ready. The rest, though outwardly prepared, were inwardly empty. Their lamps flickered in the darkness. Their oil had run dry. And when the doors opened, it was too late. They were shut out, not because they hated the bridegroom, but because they were not ready. This is the generation that lives in the echo of that parable. This is the hour when the midnight cry is resounding. The bridegroom is coming. The voice from heaven will soon shout. The trumpet will soon sound. The gates will soon open. And when they do, there will be no second chance to trim your lamp. No time to borrow oil. No opportunity to awaken from spiritual slumber. The time to prepare is now. The call is going forth not from man, but from heaven. And that cry is this: the bridegroom comes, go out to meet him. But the world sleeps. Even many within the church have fallen into a deep spiritual slumber. They confess his name, but deny his power. They gather in his house, but forget his coming. They carry the lamp of profession, but not the oil of intimacy. They have religion, but not readiness. They speak of light, but do not walk in it. They say, Lord, Lord, but do not know him. The midnight cry is not merely a warning of the future. It is a declaration of the present. The days of delay are ending. The final moments are unfolding. The signs in the earth and in the heavens are the alarms of the bridegroom's approach. They are not designed to bring fear, but urgency. They are not sent to crush, but to awaken. For mercy always precedes judgment. Love always calls before the door shuts, and heaven always cries out before the day of reckoning. But what does it mean to be ready? It means more than profession. It means possession. Possessing the oil of the Spirit, the fire of devotion, the humility of repentance. It means walking not in compromise, but in consecration. It means being set apart wholly unto the Lord. It means living not for this world, but for the next. For the return of the King will not be delayed much longer. He tarries not because he is slack concerning his promise, but because he is patient, not willing that any should perish. But the patience of God has a limit. The door of the ark eventually closes. The opportunity to enter the wedding feast eventually ends. The rapture is not a theory. It is a divine appointment. A mystery revealed in the scriptures, a moment when the bride is caught up, snatched away from the judgment that follows. It will come suddenly, unexpectedly. in the twinkling of an eye. And those who are ready will be taken, and those who are not will be left. Not because they were not invited, but because they were not prepared. The warning is clear. The signs are undeniable. The fig tree has blossomed. The signs in the heavens have appeared. The convergence of prophetic events surrounds us. And now the final call goes forth. The cry at midnight, not a whisper, not a murmur, a cry, loud, urgent, final. Awake you who sleep. Arise from the dead, and Messiah will shine on you. The cry is not just for the lost, but for the church. For too long, the church has played games at the edge of eternity. Too long has it been entertained by the world it was called to transform. Too long have the lamps been without oil. But now comes the cry that separates the foolish from the wise, the fake from the faithful, the religious from the righteous. It is not enough to say you believe. Even the demons believe. The question is not whether you believe he is coming, but whether you are ready when he comes. Are your garments white? Is your lamp burning? Is your heart filled with oil? Are your eyes fixed on heaven? Are you watching at the door? For the cry has gone forth. The bridegroom comes. The time of delay is ending. The hour of visitation draws near. Do not let the distractions of this world rob you of that moment. Do not trade eternal glory for temporary gain. Do not sell your oil for acceptance. Do not fall asleep with the lukewarm. Wake up, church. The King is coming. Wake up, soul. The gates of eternity are about to open. Wake up, heart. The trumpet is about to sound. Let not that day come upon you unaware. Let not the master return and find you sleeping. For blessed are those servants whom the master finds watching when he returns. The cry is mercy. The call is grace. The invitation still stands, but not forever. Right? The door is open now, but soon it will shut. The Spirit and the bride say, come. Come out of darkness. Come out of compromise. Come into the light. Come with your lamp trimmed. Come with your heart full. Come before the door closes. For when it does, it will not open again. And the cry that once called you will be the cry of your soul, Lord, Lord, open to us. But the answer will be the most terrifying words ever spoken. I never knew you. Do not let that be your end. Let today be your turning. Let this moment be your awakening. The cry at midnight is sounding now. The bridegroom is coming. Go out to meet him. And be ready. Be burning. Be holy. Be his. For the day is near and the time is short, and the gates of eternity are about to open.